Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. So money in relationships can often get quite messy, especially if you have one spouse that likes to save a lot while the other one likes to spend it all. Well, thankfully, there is a way for us to be entertained by these people with a show called Till Debt Do Us Part. And basically here, we can follow the lives of a newlywed couple who have some big spending differences, and then someone comes in to try to help them, but oftentimes they fail miserably. So with that said, I want to comment on this one because they're $100,000 in credit card debt. As soon as you hit the like button and subscribe, it helps the channel tremendously, especially if you hit the like button. So thank you guys so much, and now let's begin.
I'm Leona, I'm 30 years old, and I'm a publicity specialist.
My name is Mohammed, I'm 31, and I'm an engineer.
I've been married to Mohammed for 2 years. He's probably the most romantic man I've ever met. We knew we were gonna marry each other, like, instantly.
See, here's the thing, they're making a decent amount of money, but it seems like her idea of romance is really nice jewelry, which, you know, yes, okay, that could be romantic, but not if they're drowning in debt. Not if they're putting that on the credit card and then making the minimum payments. There's nothing romantic about that.
As soon as we walked into this house, I just fell in love with it. It's 3,200 square feet, it's big, it's beautiful, there's lots of space, there's a huge lovely backyard, we're backing right onto a river, there's pathways, it was just my dream house.
All right, so, I mean, it seems as though with her, you hear a lot of I's and my's. My dream house. I wanted this. You haven't heard anything from him. It seems as though he's just going along with whatever she wants, and she's the one who's kind of leading the ship. She says, oh, we're going over there, because that's where I want to go. And he's like, all right, because happy wife, happy life. What would happen if he said no? Would she just go down the rabbit hole, throw a tantrum, be like, hey, my mom warned me about you. She told me that you would do this. Wonder if it's like that. But let's hear. We got to hear from his side, too, because there's no way that he's not complicit in a lot of this or overlooking things as well, because it takes two to tango, okay? He's got to be going along with this, and that might not be right.
1 month after we moved in, we went to Thailand, Cambodia, Syria, and Lebanon for a month. The house wasn't even finished, and we just like took off.
What? She sounds like she's bragging about this. It's like, oh yeah, we were mid-project, something we couldn't afford, so we spent more money that we couldn't afford.
We got the best 3 Persian carpets in the store.
$12,000 for handmade Persian carpets. Why? Persian carpets are so expensive. But let me tell you, the ones you buy off Amazon for $100, they're like the same thing. You're gonna have animals peeing on them. You're gonna have people stepping on them. You're gonna spill wine on them at some point. It's just like, I don't get spending the extra money. Now, sure, some people say, oh, they're more durable. You could clean them more. They're not going to fade. I don't give a crap if they fade. Not for I'd rather have $12,000 than a carpet that fades. I don't care. I don't get the appeal unless you're really into collecting fine rugs.
It was really fun spending a lot of money in beautiful exotic foreign places, like buying silk curtains from Thailand. But we have a lot of things that we have to fix right away, and we just don't have any money left.
They're putting lipstick on a pig. That's really what they're doing. They're doing the easy cosmetic stuff without actually addressing the pig itself, which is that this house needs some major repairs.
Sell the house, I think, would be very devastating for not just Leona, but for myself as well.
We decided to postpone having kids until we felt we were financially stable.
If we want to take that next step, then things have to change.
Good. I'm glad they have to change, because what they're doing is just like, it's unsustainable. She's spending money they don't have.
I help people understand money and debt and how to balance it all while keeping a roof over their heads.
Again, she's like the Mary Poppins of personal finance, who shows up out of nowhere. You say her name in the mirror late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, Gail, Gail, Gail. She shows up and she rips you apart with a budget, you know? Just, don't believe me? Try it.
And these curtains are all the curtains you got in Thailand?
Yes.
So they're all raw silk?
They're all raw silk.
And I know the carpets are handmade.
Yes.
Persian.
That's right.
Run you about $12,000?
Approximately.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing is with those two, you don't want to step on them. Like, imagine someone walks in with their shoes from the outside on your nice, really expensive Persian carpet. It's like, no, don't do that. I'd be so vigilant of that. I would just tell everyone, stay away from the carpet. You can't step on it. It's just for show. You look at it, we don't do anything on it, though.
So last 6 months, you can say about 4,000 or 5,000 have been paid off.
At that rate, it will take you 10 years to get rid of all of your debt?
That's outrageous. I almost can't believe that that's correct, but hey, What do I know? I got my head in the sand, right?
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. It sounds very sarcastic. What do I know about that? Yeah, she's the one that got into the mess too. It's like, I think she won't face the reality. And it seems like when he said that she'll get emotional when he brings it up, it seems like it's a very defensive nature. That instead of confronting that maybe she's been spending beyond their means, she doesn't want to, embrace that and just say, all right, screwed up. Let's scale back a little bit. Let's get this paid off. Let's figure out a path that's sustainable. They both make good income. So they're both good with money, just not good with spending it.
You buy a house for $386,000 and you put $20,000 down. Mm-hmm. And then you immediately get a $25,000 loan. So some moronic lender decides to give you more than the value of the house.
See, that's what happens in 2004. Lenders are throwing money left and right because what some of these lenders would do is that they would say, well, the real estate market is going up. And so it might be worth this right now, but in a year it'll be worth this. So we could just lend on that difference. We'll just assume it keeps going up, give you the money, and eventually it'll be worth more, especially if they spend that money renovating it. Think of that. Now it's so difficult to get a loan. They put you through the ringer to make sure you can afford it. Like even if interest rates increase, assuming the worst case scenario, that you have reserves, they really want to make sure that mortgage crisis does not happen again.
Your down payment is less than 20%. So on a $386,000 house, you automatically owe $401,000.
Yes.
And then you went out and spent on credit just to have the nice stuff.
Oh, wow. That is wild. So they got a home renovation loan, but they got another loan to furnish the house that they couldn't afford to begin with. Look at this. Let's see what really stands out here. Roofing roof. Roofing roof. Why not just roofing? Roofing roof. Oh, like roofing the roof. Like fixing the roof. $6,500. That's not terrible. It's all the little miscellaneous expenses that add up here.
Here you sit at 30 years old
Yes.
with a big honking mortgage and $100,000 worth of consumer debt.
Oh man, look at this. So they owe on 4 credit cards plus student loans. The credit card's an average interest of 12%, which today, that would be like nothing. But back then, 12%, geez. So they're paying a ton of interest every single year on this.
How long do you think you'll have to delay having children if you're $1.1 million in debt?
Indefinitely? That's not going to happen. We're not going to have children if we're that much in debt. It's not going to happen.
Now, hopefully she's scared straight. Hopefully they just, whip her into shape, get him on a plan too, because here's the thing. It's not just her. He's also complicit in this. He is allowing this to happen and partaking in it. He's enjoying the house just as much as anyone else is, except for me. I don't know the house.
I'm going to cut your variable spending by 78%.
Oh my God. Okay.
Instead of the $9,100 you have been spending, you'll have just over $1,900.
Seems like a lot still, but imagine going from $9,100 a month in variable spending. That is insane. That is so much money, $300 a day that they're just blowing. So down to $1,700, it's still a decent chunk, but for them, it's like, that's a big lifestyle change.
650 is what we make per month.
Yeah.
I've supplied them with mini Persian carpets to use as currency. Coming up with $3,000 a month to retire their debt shouldn't be too much of a squeeze for Mohammed and Leona.
Oh, that's good. It's good that you could physically see something and kind of move it from category to category. It's hard to sometimes do that on a computer screen or even writing down on a notepad. This makes it more visual, that you really get to see where your money is going. I think that's great.
You know this big blank I left here? The travel blank? I want to have maybe a little bit.
No.
The toughest sacrifice by far, not traveling for the next couple of years.
You know what the thing is, though? They could have traveled like a king if they had used credit cards responsibly. Gotten points, used the points for free travel. Instead, they're just blowing money left and right. So it's like without the credit cards, they got themselves in a bad position,
Remember I talked to you about this the other night and you're like, oh, we don't need an emergency fund.
I'm not going to spend money on savings if my interest rate on loans is that much higher.
I almost tend to agree with him. Here's the thing though. The emergency fund is good for little small day-to-day expenses that might come up. And, it gets you on the habit of saving. Well, at the same time, it's like you don't want to have to rely on credit cards. But at the same time, too, it's like, if their debt is 11%, it kind of makes more sense to pay off the debt because they can always charge it back to the credit card if they needed to absolutely do that as an emergency. So yeah, credit cards can be bad emergency funds, but maybe it's good because he already owes a lot on credit cards.
I like to have a little bit of a backup. Let's put like $100. That's pretty lame.
So you lose 10% and you make it to 3%.
Mohammed, I want to put something into an emergency fund, okay?
You know, it's funny. She's really turned it around. Now she's the one that is more financially responsible than he is. She's the one who's really, doing a fantastic job in this. So hats off to her. It seems like something really switched for her, and now she's on track.
You know that $600 that's going to go into home maintenance?
Yeah.
That's what you have to spend on this challenge. And then comes the sweat equity, because I want you to implement one aspect of the new garden.
It seems like a fun challenge, though. It's like, go and spend money. You're already in debt, but spend more money doing the garden yourself. This just seems like a fun weekend project.
Mohammed was in charge, and Leona blissfully unaware.
When the bills come in, I just put them in a drawer, and I don't know what happens to them after that.
I've got them talking about the money and sharing responsibility for the budget.
I see. Okay. I see what might have been happening here. He's the one who's kind of in charge of everything, and she's oblivious to what's going on behind the scenes. So she just sees above water. It's like, oh, everything's fine. But below, it's like, it's awful. He's the below part. He's the one that's authorizing this and that. He's the one, oh, we're taking care of it. She has no idea what's going on. Now it begins to make a lot more sense.
So Mohammed has created some elaborate plans for the backyard.
So you want to actually add an addition on here, like a solarium?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then we take steps into a fire pit. The steps continue and get to a raised gazebo area.
Oh gosh, he's got very high plans for the $600. Unless he's like an experienced tradesman buying stuff at wholesale cost. I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to that.
I did have a grand vision of things, and I think we need to change it up a little bit. So what we're trying to do is build little by little bit by doing it ourselves and being more resourceful.
Yeah, the issue though is that if any of this soil starts to, move around, all of this is going to start to move with it. It's pretty good for $600 in a weekend though.
Like many homeowners, Leona's intimidated by contractors.
I hate negotiating with tradesmen. They've jacked their prices up as soon as they see me, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, here's another thing too that I've never experienced before. I've started to learn over time is that contractors do a thing where it's called pricing the neighborhood, where they charge more if you're in a $3 million house than if you're in a $300,000 house. Could be the exact same work, but because you live in a more expensive house, it's assumed that you're gonna pay more, which I guess kind of is true. But yeah, when I was getting quotes on a duplex in mid-city Los Angeles, I was living there, 800 square feet, it was a one-bedroom. My quotes were probably half the cost of doing anything else in a more expensive house. So it goes to show you, it very much happens. I get why, but you gotta negotiate everything.
They come into your home and they will tell you what you can and cannot do.
They'll often ask me, oh, just casually, what does your husband do? And when I say what he does, they know it's a good career.
Well, why is she telling them this? It's like they're asking her, well, if you want to know how much it costs, how much you have. You have that? Okay, that's how much it is. Why is she just volunteering information?
She was asking a lot of the right questions, like references, pictures, timelines. If you go over a deadline, you got to pay a certain cost.
Write up a quote for me.
Okay. Actually, she did pretty good.
There's so many ways you can negotiate these things, but I will tell you, getting multiple bids and stuff like this, it's a pain. It's like you're really putting in the work to get the best price. Like you've got to negotiate them down. You got to get a few quotes. You're putting in the time. So you're compensated for that time usually, but it's not easy.
Our ultimate goal was to figure out our finances so we could move forward and have a family. And what Gail has done is she's come in and really sort of put us on the right road to get to that goal.
You went outside your comfort zone, and you took a lot of guff from me. And so I have a little something.
Yes.
Look at this. She's giving away money like Mr. Beast on here. Congratulations. They deserve it. I actually really like the story. They completely flipped. I thought he was the one at first who was really trying to scale back, but she had no idea what was going on. And now she's the one who's kind of forging forward on this. I really wish them all the best. I would love to see where they are now. If anyone has any updates on this couple since this was filmed like 20 years ago, would love to see it. And if you have any other recommendations for videos that you would suggest that I watch, please let me know. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and feel free to add me on Snapchat at GPStefan. It's the same as the Instagram one, just GPStefan. I'm trying to vlog as much as I can right now on Snapchat. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and till next time.